Namaskar, good evening. Thank you so much for joining me in this ninth session. Today is going to be one of the toughest sessions for me because I plan to cover the ninth, 10th, and 11th chapters from Gita, all of them in this one single session. ये तीनों ही अध्याय जो है नाइन्थ, टेंथ और 11th, ये तीनों अध्याय में एक ये अपने सेशन में कवर करने की कोशिश कर रहा हूँ, तो थोड़ा शायद मुश्किल होगा, बट इसके पीछे का जो रीज़न है, जो रैशनल है, वो ये है कि 9वां और 10वां जो अध्याय है, 9th एंड 10th चैप्टर्स, दे आर बेसिकली अ बिल्ड अप टूवर्ड्स द 12th चैप्टर. ये पहले दो अध्याय जो है 9वां और 10वां, ये 11वें अध्याय के तरफ का एक बिल्डअप है क्योंकि 11वें अध्याय में श्री कृष्ण जो है अपना विश्वरूप दर्शन जो है ये अर्जुन को देते हैं. एज पर महाभारत अर्जुन एक विश्वरूप दर्शन एक्सपीरियंस करता है जहाँ पे वो कृष्ण के शरीर में ही पूरे विश्व का रूप समाया हुआ देखते हैं. ही सीज द एंटायर यूनिवर्स काइंड ऑफ थ्रू द लेंस ऑफ कृष्णा और probably within Krishna himself, right? And in the 11th chapter Arjuna describes what all he sees, right? 11वें अध्याय में अर्जुन बताता है कि उनको क्या दिख रहा है इस विश्वरूप दर्शन में, और 9वां और 10वें अध्याय में कृष्ण बता रहे हैं कि ये यूनिवर्स है क्या, इसकी रियलिटी है क्या, राइट? वी हैव ऑलरेडी सीन द एक्सपांस ऑफ द यूनिवर्स. इसके पहले के सेशन में वी हैव ऑलरेडी कवर्ड द 13.8 बिलियन ईयर्स ऑफ हिस्ट्री ऑफ यूनिवर्स राइट फ्रॉम द पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम ऑफ बिग बैंग. हमने देखा कि अपने वैदिक स्क्रिप्चर्स में एक साइक्लिकल नेचर ऑफ रियलिटी कैसे दिखाया गया है कि 311 ट्रिलियन ईयर्स ऑफ इवोल्यूशन and then 311 trillion years of devolution and the cycle continuing, right? अलग अलग मनवंतर है, अलग अलग मनु है, we have seen that expanse, right, through those multiple billions of years. अभी आज के इस अध्याय में देखते हैं कि कृष्ण अर्जुन को कहते क्या है. बेसिकली वी आर कवरिंग द डाइवर्सिटी एंड कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी ऑफ द रियलिटी नाउ, राइट? वी हैव सीन द एक्सपांस, नाउ वी आर गोइंग टू सी द डाइवर्सिटी एंड द कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी. नाउ लेट्स बिगिन. कृष्ण अर्जुन को कह रहे हैं कि आई एम इन दिस एंटायर यूनिवर्स in an unmanifest form. All beings in a way are contained by me, but I am not contained by any of them. Slightly confusing लगता है ना, ये क्या कह रहे हैं? All beings in a way are contained by me, but I am not contained by any of them, right? We'll get to that. We'll explain that shortly. He further says, "Behold my divine yoga. I am the upholder of all beings, and yet I am not contained by any of them. My will alone causes their existence." Right? What is Krishna trying to say? Krishna in the previous chapter has covered the expanse of the universe, the 13.8 billions of years of history, and now he's saying that I am in pretty much every one of them, but nobody contains me. राइट? ये थोड़ा कंफ्यूजिंग लगता है ना, तो इसी के लिए अभी एक लेट्स टेक दिस एग्जांपल ऑफ द ओशन, द इमेज दैट यू सी ऑन द स्क्रीन राइट नाउ. ये इमेज में कैन यू जस्ट थिंक एंड टेल मी हाउ मेनी वेव्स डू यू सी ऑन द स्क्रीन? कितने वेव्स आप देख पा रहे हैं इस इमेज में? ये एक समुद्र का एक इमेज है, और इस इमेज में आप कितनी लहरें देख पा रहे हैं, कितने वेव्स देख पा रहे हैं? 5, 8, 10, 15, 20, 22, राइट? मेनी ऑफ देम, राइट? इट्स डिफिकल्ट टू काउंट. क्यों? बिकॉज देर आर सर्टन वेव्स जो अपने उफान पे हैं. आप देख पा रहे होंगे कि इसमें से बहुत सारे जो लहरें हैं वो अपने बहुत ही उफान पे हैं, चरम पे हैं, और बहुत सारे जो वेव्स हैं अभी वो डिमिनिश हो रहे हैं, वो उफान पे आके अब जा रहे हैं, नीचे जा रहे हैं, नॉर्मल होने पे जा रहे हैं, और कुछ है जो अभी तैयार हो रहे हैं, अब जस्ट they are now beginning to rise, right? And there are all those sorts of combinations of waves, right? एक बीच में सेंटर पे जो दिख रहा है वो शायद सबसे ज़्यादा इंटेंसिटी के साथ आगे आ रहा है. ऑन द राइट इज समथिंग विच इज़ लाइक फॉलिंग डाउन, ऑन द लेफ्ट इज समथिंग विच इज़ नाउ राइजिंग अप, राइट? एंड राइट एट द सेंटर इन द फ्रंट आप देख रहे होंगे कि बहुत सारे जो लहरें जो अभी बन रही हैं, अब तैयार हो रही है, राइट? और कहना मुश्किल है कि ये तैयार हो रही है कि ये अब बिखर रही है. इट्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट, राइट? बट वॉट आई एम ट्राइंग टू ड्रॉ योर अटेंशन टू इज, अगर मैंने आपको ये सवाल पूछा कि ये जो लहरें हैं, दीज वेव्स दैट यू सी, ये किससे बनी है? What are these waves made up of? They are made up of water, just the same as the ocean. They are made up of the ocean water itself. ये जो लहरें हैं ये समंदर के ही पानी से बनी हुई है. ये समंदर जिससे बना है पानी, उसी से ये लहरें बनी हुई हैं, right? And if I were to ask you that are all the waves contained by the ocean? Yes or no? ये सारी ही लहरें जो है, ये सारी ही लहरें किसी समंदर में है या नहीं है? ज़रूर है, डेफिनेटली है, राइट। लेकिन मैंने अगर आपको पूछा कि किसी एक लहर में पूरा का पूरा समंदर समाया हुआ है, तो आप तो जवाब दोगे नहीं, ऐसा हो ही नहीं सकता, ये तो एक छोटी सी लहर है, क्योंकि लहर ही बनी है समंदर के पानी से, राइट। सो ऑल्दो द वेव्स आर मेड अप ऑफ द सेम वाटर दैट द ओशन इज मेड अप ऑफ, राइट, वेव्स आर नथिंग बट अ पार्ट ऑफ द ओशन इटसेल्फ, right? It's just that जब atmospheric pressure, gravitational pull, the wind, all of these forces combine, these waves form, and and they differ in terms of the intensity of them, the frequency of them and all of it. ये सारी अलग अलग forces define करती है कि कितने intensity के साथ ये waves आएंगे, कितने frequency के साथ waves आएंगे और कितनी waves आएंगी, राइट। ऑल ऑफ दैट इज डिफाइंड बाय दिस फोर्सेस, बट आखिर में वेव्स जो है वो है तो समंदर ही, राइट, वो समुद्र के पानी से ही बनी हुई है, राइट। सो ये जो लहरें हैं, ये जो वेव्स हैं, इनका अगर मैं डिस्क्रिप्शन दूं अगर आपको किसी नॉर्मल स्टेटमेंट में या सेंटेंस में, तो मैं यही कहूँगा कि लहरें उसी पानी से या उसी समंदर से बनी है, लेकिन और सारी ही लहरें जो है वो समुंदर में है, लेकिन समुंदर किसी एक लहर में नहीं है, राइट। अब इसी चीज़ को आप ऊपर के स्टेटमेंट को अप्लाई करो और देखो कृष्णा क्या कह रहे हैं। कृष्णा कह रहा है कि मैं हर एक किसी में हूँ, लेकिन कोई एक नहीं है जिसमें मैं पूरी तरह से समाया हुआ हूँ, राइट। दिस इज एग्जैक्टली व्हाट ही इज सेइंग। सो द होल एक्सप्लेनेशन इज व्हाट कृष्णा इज ट्राइंग टू से, दैट आई एम द ट्रिगर, आई एम द वन हु इज ट्रिगरिंग द एग्जिस्टेंस ऑफ एवरी एंटिटी इन दिस यूनिवर्स। जो भी यहाँ पे है, the living beings, the non-living beings, the matter, the energy, all of it, all that exists in the universe, time, space, matter, energy, all of that is triggered by me. It is because of me. I am within all of that, but there is not one entity which can say that it is containing me, right? जैसे ही कि कोई एक वेव नहीं है जिसमें सारा समुद्र समाया हुआ है, वैसे कोई एक चीज़ नहीं कि जिसमें मैं पूरी तरह से समाया हुआ, लेकिन मैं हर जगह पे हूँ। आई एम इन एवरी वन ऑफ देम, एट एवरी ईच इंडिविजुअल एंटिटी, राइट। सो दिस इज वॉट ही इज ट्राइंग टू कन्वे, बेसिकली सेइंग दैट आई एम एट द रूट, the causal root of everything else that you see in the universe, right? Now what is that definition of everything? ये everything है क्या? Expanse तो हमने देख लिया, space और time का जो expanse था, the 13.8 billion years of time expanse and the space expanse, the billions of galaxies and the nebulas, the nebulae, and the solar systems and the planets and the suns and the stars and all of it that we discussed in the previous session. The expanse and time तो हमने देखा. अब let's figure out the diversity and complexity of it, right? If we see टिपिकली हमने ये भी देखा था, आदि भौतिक, आदि दैविक, आध्यात्मिक, आध्यात्मिक, ये भी हमने पिछले सेशन में देखा था. सो इफ यू जस्ट फोकस ऑन द मटीरियल और द फिजिकल एस्पेक्ट्स, राइट, द फिजिक्स ऑफ इट. फिजिक्स का अगर देखें तो करंट साइंस भी क्या कहता है, देयर आर 4 फंडामेंटल फोर्सेस, ग्रेविटेशनल फोर्स, वी हैव स्ट्रॉन्ग फोर्स, द वीक फोर्स एंड द इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिक फोर्स. ये 4 फंडामेंटल फोर्सेस हैं. बाकी कोई भी फोर्स आप पकड़ लो, उस फोर्स को आप इन 4 फोर्सेस के कॉम्बिनेशंस में आप एक्सप्लेन कर पाओगे, बिकॉज एट द रूट ऑफ इट ये 4 में से कोई तो एक ही फोर्स होगा या कॉम्बिनेशन होगा, राइट. बट ऑल द अदर फोर्सेस आर बेसिकली मेड आउट ऑफ दिस 4 फंडामेंटल फोर्सेस. अभी तक इन 4 फंडामेंटल फोर्सेस का तोड़ वी हैव नॉट बीन एबल टू फिगर आउट एज मच, राइट. सो ये जो 4 फंडामेंटल फोर्सेस हो गया, एंड 15 फिजिक्स लॉज जो है, अलग अलग फिजिक्स के लॉज जो, इंक्लूडिंग द न्यूटन्स लॉज ऑफ मोशन एंड ऑल, ये सारे ही जो लॉज एंड फोर्सेस है फिजिक्स के, at the root of it, the trigger of it, it is me, is what Krishna is saying, right. Even the chemistry of it, अगर आप देखें, हर कोई चीज़ जो है वो मॉलिक्यूल से बनी है, मॉलिक्यूल एटम से बने हैं, एटम सब एटमिक पार्टिकल से बने हैं. बट ये जो भी अलग अलग मॉलिक्यूल्स हैं, विच आर द डिफरेंट डिस्टिंक्ट 118 एलिमेंट्स आइडेंटिफाइड, दे आर देयर इन द पीरियोडिक टेबल. हाइड्रोजन, हीलियम, नियॉन, बेरिलियम, बोरॉन, कार्बन, राइट, नाइट्रोजन, ऑक्सीजन, फ्लोरीन, ये पूरा जो एक पीरियोडिक टेबल है, 118 एलिमेंट्स, और उनके कॉम्बिनेशन से जो अब तक लोग ह्यूमन बींग्स को पता है, 350,000 केमिकल कंपाउंड्स हैव बीन either identified or discovered, or manufactured in some way, right. So ये chemistry का जो diversity है, in the universe, and the biology of the universe, which is like in the only on the planet Earth, अपने खुद के हमारे planet में, because अब तक तो हम इसी को डिस्कवर कर चुके हैं और इसको एक्सप्लोर कर चुके हैं. तो there are around 8.7 million species estimated to be there. 8.7 million species, 87 लाख स्पीसीज़ हैं अलग अलग, उसमें से 65 लाख 6.5 मिलियन आर ऑन द लैंड एंड 2.2 मिलियन आर एस्टिमेटेड टू बी इन द ओशन और इन द वाटर, राइट। जिसमें से सिर्फ 12 लाख स्पीसीज़ को ही स्टडी किया गया है। ओनली 1.2 मिलियन स्पीसीज़ हैव बीन डॉक्यूमेंटेड, स्टडीड एंड एक्सप्लोर्ड एट लेंथ. That means there's so much of biology that is yet to be explored, so much of chemistry that is yet to be explored, so much of physics that is to be explored, and all of this diversity is coming in from one root at the end of the day, and that root is the Brahman, the supreme consciousness, or whatever you may want to call it, right? At the root of it all, this diversity is that one single thing which is supreme consciousness, right? And there is also additional complexity created by this very diversity. हमारी खुद की ह्यूमन बॉडी भी अगर पकड़ लो, हमारी खुद की ह्यूमन बॉडी में देर आर 315 डिफरेंट ऑर्गन्स, एंड व्हेन आई से 315, आई एम नॉट काउंटिंग डिस्टिंक्ट ऑर्गन्स, आई एम रादर काउंटिंग इंडिविजुअल डिस्टिंक्ट ऑर्गन्स. मतलब 32 दांत है तो मैं 32 के 32 गिन रहा हूँ, राइट. सो इफ आई काउंट ऑल द इंडिविजुअल ऑर्गन्स one by one distinctively, there are 315 organs, 1300 different enzymes that lead to 100,000 chemicals, 200 plus hormones, 206 plus bones, 600 muscles. All of these constitute our human body, right? There is so much of complexity in our own human body, which is again a result of the biology, the chemistry and the physics, the evolution that has created this kind of complexity after years and years of effort or work, राइट. अब ये जो ह्यूमन बॉडी की कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी है और एवरी अदर इंडिविजुअल एंटिटी, द लिविंग एंटिटी दैट यू सी, उसकी जो कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी है, उस कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी का रूट जो है वो फिजिक्स, केमिस्ट्री, बायोलॉजी है, और उनका जो रूट है एट द एंड इज नथिंग बट द सुप्रीम कॉन्शियसनेस, राइट. एंड दिस व्हाट एग्जैक्टली कृष्णा इज सेइंग. कृष्णा इज सेइंग द लॉर्ड सेड इंडीड आई शैल टेल यू अर्जुना माय ऑस्पिशियस मैनिफेस्टेशंस, ऑल दैट यू सी इन द यूनिवर्स इज अ मैनिफेस्टेशन ऑफ मी, राइट. ये इसको समझना है तो बस अपने करंट साइंटिफिक अंडरस्टैंडिंग को भी अगर आप थोड़ा सा जोर दें उसके ऊपर, इफ़ यू फोकस ऑन दैट वेरी लेवल ऑफ साइंटिफिक अंडरस्टैंडिंग दैट वी हैव एज ऑफ नाउ, एज ऑफ टुडे, इवन देन इट्स ईजी फॉर अस टू अंडरस्टैंड, बिकॉज what Krishna is trying to say, just the same way any matter that you study ultimately will be a result of certain compounds. Those compounds would be result of certain molecules coming together. Those molecules would be based on certain specific elements, the atomic elements, and those specific atomic elements will have certain subatomic particles at the root, and the combination of those, and ऐसे नीचे नीचे जाते जाते अगर आप जाओ तो there will be one single common entity, one single thing which is at the root of everything that you find in the universe. जैसे कि लहरों में अल्टीमेटली पानी तो उस समंदर का ही है, राइट. It is all there, right? That's all that the waves are made up of, right? At the core it's going to be that, right? And वो जो भी है, that is me, and therefore whatever you see around is a manifestation of me. ये मेरा manifestation है, मैं ही हूँ जो manifest हो रहा है इन तरीकों से, right? इसका अलग एग्जाम्पल आप if you go back to the earlier sessions that we had gone through as well, मैंने कहा था कि इलेक्ट्रिसिटी तो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी है, इट इज़ कॉमन. बस अभी वो अगर ट्यूबलाइट में चली जाए तो लाइट वाइट लाइट आएगा, अगर बल्ब में जाए तो येलो लाइट आएगा. If it goes into LEDs, then you can figure out the different colors that come out of it. अगर वो वॉशिंग मशीन में चला जाए तो फिर it comes out as a help for us, it helps us wash the clothes. And if it goes into a music instrument, it plays sound. So the manifestation of electricity varies based on what device it gets into, but at the root what makes it living, the manifestation is coming in from electricity, which is common, right. अब उसी को अगर इस चीज़ को अप्लाई किया जाए तो हमारे वैदिक स्क्रिप्चर्स के हिसाब से ये जो डाइवर्सिटी है ऑफ द यूनिवर्स, विच इंक्लूड्स द लिविंग बींग्स, द नॉन लिविंग बींग्स, द मैटर, द एनर्जी, द एक्सपांस, द टाइम, स्पेस, डिफरेंशियल, ऑल ऑफ इट, ये सबका जो फाइनल रूट जो है वो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी की तरह ही एक चीज़ है, छोटी सी, एक बहुत ही बड़ी सी और फंडामेंटल सी अगर कोई चीज़ है, then that is Brahman, the supreme consciousness, and that is what it is me, right. So when Krishna is saying I am that, or I am manifested as everything else, that I is basically coming in from an aspect that Krishna is identifying with that supreme consciousness. Krishna जब I कहता है तो he is not saying कि Krishna, the physical body of Krishna is within everybody else, right. He is saying he is identifying himself, his existence with the supreme consciousness, and then he is saying that very supreme consciousness that I am identifying with, that supreme consciousness is within everything else, right. Or everything else is a manifestation of that supreme consciousness, right. And under my supervision, so again when he is saying my supervision, वो कह रहा है my means under the supervision of the supreme consciousness, प्रकृति गिव्स बर्थ टू ऑल मोबाइल एंड इमोबाइल एंटिटीज, राइट. नाउ लेट्स अंडरस्टैंड मोबाइल एंड इमोबाइल क्या है. मोबाइल का मतलब होता है द लिविंग एंटिटीज एंड मैटर, द नॉन लिविंग एंटिटीज, राइट. दैट इज ही इज टर्मिंग इट एज मोबाइल, एंड इमोबाइल is something which is when supreme consciousness exists in a potent form, which is energy, right. And then there is another thing which is latent form, which is supreme consciousness as is, right. It is existing in its purest of form, right. So there are three specific states of supreme consciousness: the latent, the potent, and the express, right. We'll figure this out as we move along, but express hota hai ki jahan pe supreme consciousness can be seen as life. It is expressed as life. That life can be a simplest of form in terms of microorganisms. It could be a bit more complicated in terms of plants, a bit more complicated in terms of animals, and a much more complicated in terms of human beings, right. The complication grows as the complexity picks up in individual entities, but all of that is expressed as life, right. And that is what is called as mobile but expressed supreme consciousness. There will be something which is mobile but unexpressed, which is the matter that we see all around, right. Which is the mountains, the stones, the dust, the sand, all that we see around us, the water that flows, all of that is mobile in terms of the supreme consciousness being there in a potent form. And that's why this matter can be converted into energy, and E equal to mc square. It creates so much of energy when this matter is finally converted into energy. तो ये जो supreme consciousness है, which is mobile but unexpressed, because it's not living, right. It's non-living, and hence it is called as mobile but potent. It is available unexpressed, right. And the third is latent, कि जहाँ पे अभी तक ये उस स्टेज पे भी नहीं पहुँचे हैं कि जहाँ पे it can be even mobile, or can be visibly seen in terms of either matter or a living entity, right. Then it's either energy or forces or pure supreme consciousness as is, right, unmanifested, राइट. सो ये तीनों ही स्टेज जो है, यूनिवर्स इसी से बना हुआ है. यूनिवर्स जो बना है वो किससे, मैटर और एनर्जी से बना है. और मैटर अलग अलग फॉर्म्स में जब कंबाइन होता है तो वो इट क्रिएट्स ऑल द कंपाउंड्स, द एलिमेंट्स, द मेटल्स, द अर्थ, द वाटर, द कॉन्टिनेंट्स, द लैंड, एंड ऑल ऑफ दैट वी सी. एंड देन उसमें लिविंग बींग्स का भी एक component है, right. So this entire creation of universe, the latent, the potent, and the express, is a manifestation of supreme consciousness itself, right, is what Krishna is saying. These are quantitative aspects that we have studied. Quantitative in the sense we can actually count these things, right. We can count the diversity, and as we evolve, as we grow, as our knowledge grows, the count grows, right. हमको पहले पता भी नहीं था कि 8.7 million species अर्थ पे है. The more the science grew, we know that okay, there is an estimated 8.7. Maybe as it grows further, we'll realize maybe there are 12 million species. Who knows, right? We don't know the answer as of now. It's an estimate that the science talks about at this point, right? हमें खुद को नहीं पता था हमारे बॉडी में 206 bones है. Then later on we realized that yes, we have 206 bones and 600 muscles and 200 plus hormones and 100,000 plus chemicals and what not, right. तो ये तो धीरे धीरे साइंस जैसे एक्सप्लोर होगा वैसे वैसे हमें पता चलेगा. बट दिस एंटायर कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी is countable, right. That's why it is quantitative, right. We can actually see it, we can study it, we can visibly count it, distinctly identify it, right. But there are certain things which are qualitative, right. What are the qualitative aspects? The intelligence, the emotions, the feelings, the motivation, the commitment, all that comes in us. And the more the evolved the organism, like a human being, the more the potential for it to be able to infer these qualitative aspects, right. अभी qualitative aspects जो हैं ये भी, इनका trigger भी वो supreme consciousness है. So supreme consciousness is not just expressed or manifested in terms of quantitative aspects, it is also expressed in terms of qualitative aspects. अब इधर ही आप अगर देखें हमारे वैदिक स्क्रिप्चर्स का जो ब्यूटी है, our Vedic scriptures have an inherent beauty in terms of modifying the language, modifying the expression to suit the listener, राइट. अभी कृष्णा जब अर्जुन को बता रहे हैं, देन कृष्णा इज टॉकिंग इन टर्म्स ऑफ आई एम इन दोज 8.7 मिलियन स्पीसीज, आई एम in those chemicals, I am in those laws, I am in those forces, I am, in the matter, I am in your body, right? I am the one who creates all of that. So Krishna's language is all about I am, I am, I am, right? Whereas if you look at certain scriptures like even the Ganesh Atharva Shirsha, which is a Ganesh Vandana, and the description of Ganesha and all that, then the very language is turned upside down in terms of, oh Ganesha, you are, in this as well, you are in that as well, you are in the matter, you are in the energy, you are in the forces, right? So इसी में गणेश अथर्व शीर्ष में भी अगर आप देखें तो वहाँ है त्वम चत्वारि वाक्पदानि, त्वम गुणत्रयातीतः, त्वम कालत्रयातीतः, त्वम देहत्रयातीतः, त्वम शक्तित्रयात्मकः, right? So which means that you are within those four speeches and you are beyond those, and you are का मतलब वही है, the waves, right? That the ocean is within the waves, but the ocean is beyond the waves as well, right? The same way, in Ganesha Atharva Shirsha it says, oh Ganesha, you are within the four speeches, but you are beyond these four speeches as well. And Krishna is also saying the same, that I am in these four speeches and I am beyond this as well, right? So Vedic scriptures, they are formats which are like personalized and contextualized for an individual constitution. अगर मैं हूँ जो गणेश को मानता हूँ और गणेशा को पूजता हूँ, तो मुझे गणेश अथर्व शीर्ष से ये ज्ञान मिलेगा. अगर मैं कृष्णा को मानता हूँ, कृष्णा को पढ़ता हूँ, तो मैं गीता से ये ज्ञान लूँगा. तो मेरे लिए अलग अलग फॉर्मेट्स हैं जिससे मैं पढ़ सकता हूँ, लेकिन अल्टीमेटली दे ऑल टॉक अबाउट द सेम थिंग, isn't it? Now what are these things, right? By the way, मैंने एक लिंक भी यहाँ दी हुई है. I have given a small link which is a YouTube link towards my 3 videos where I have talked about Ganesh Atharva Shirsha as well. And the reason I am highlighting Ganesh Atharva Shirsha is because rather than telling you all those specific translations of what's there in the 9th chapter, what's there in the 10th chapter, ultimately Krishna is just referring to the diversity and complexity. If you want to study about it, you can always go through the translation that's available pretty much anywhere. Just टाइप इन गीता ट्रांसलेशन इंग्लिश और आप उसको आपको 9-10 चैप्टर के ट्रांसलेशन मिल जाएंगे, 11 चैप्टर के भी ट्रांसलेशन मिल जाएंगे. अगर आपको उसका बेसिक और डिटेलिंग चाहिए होगा जो ट्रांसलेशन नहीं देते हैं, तो मेरे गणेश अथर्व शीर्ष में भी मैंने वो कवर किया है 3 अलग अलग सेशंस में. तो ये तीनों सेशंस आपको ये यूट्यूब लिंक से मिल जाएंगे. बट इफ़ हैव टू गिव यू स्लाइड क्विक सम अप ऑफ ऑल ऑफ दैट, तो 4 स्पीचेस होते हैं. देर आर 4 स्पीचेस एज पर अवर वैदिक स्क्रिप्चर्स: वैखरी, मध्यमा, पश्यंती, परा. वैखरी इज अ कम्युनिकेशन फॉर्मेट विच इज vocal speech, right? The verbal speech. Verbal speech for those who can talk in terms of words, right? Us, for example, human beings. The speech that I'm using right now to talk to you through this session, that is Vaikhari. Right? Madhyama is that communication format which is the language of our senses, sensory organs. When the eye sees an object and then captures it and passes on to the brain, that communication format is done in Madhyama. When the ear gets a sound and then passes on that sound to the brain, that communication format is Madhyama. Right? The same is with the touch, the taste, and all the senses basically. And this is for human beings. For other animals there could be other sensory organs, right? Sensory inputs. For a bat, it could be those waves through which the sonar format of figuring out the distance and the objects and all that, right? So for them that's Madhyama as well. Pashyanti is the language of the neural network, the neural synapses and the to and fro that happens between those nodes, the neural nodes. That is language of the brain, the language in which the brain captures information, retains information, processes information, throws out insights and recommends and pushes on the actions to the organs. All of that, the language of the brain and the spinal cord, the nervous system, that's Pashyanti, right? This is the language in which the memory is stored. This is the language in which we see the dreams. This is the language in which we store knowledge, we process information, right? We build on insights, right? And the last format is Para. which is beyond all of it, right? Para means beyond all of it. जो first three formats है वैखरी, मध्यमा, पश्यंती, हमारे वैदिक scriptures के accordingly, these are ahat nads. Ahat means striking and nad means sound. So all these are formats that are created when some things strike against each other, right? So vocal cords जब strike करते हैं, or you know when our mouth shapes those modulations in a particular way, we are able to speak, राइट और हमारे मुंह से आवाज़ निकलती है और वो एक लैंग्वेज के टर्म्स में, वर्ड्स के टर्म्स में बाहर निकल के अदर पर्सन कैन मेक सेंस ऑफ इट, राइट? सो दिस फॉर्म्स बिकॉज देर इज सम वोकल ऑर्गन, सम वोकल कॉर्ड्स, यू नो, दैट स्ट्राइक अगेंस्ट ईच अदर, राइट? द सेम इज विद मध्यमा, जहाँ पे सेंसरी ऑर्गन्स, यू नो, इट कुड बी ईयर ड्रम इन द ईयर, इट कुड बी द लेंस इन द आई व्हेन द लाइट स्ट्राइक्स द लेंस, you know, and what happens, right? All of it. The same is with the taste buds in the tongue. So there is some sense of you know, an input striking with a sense, the sensory organ, or you know, an input device, right? An information striking an input device, and that creating a sound, and therefore the communication format accordingly, right? So there is some sense of striking. That's why these are called as ahat nad, right? But when it comes to anahat nad, anahat nad, you know, which is para, you know, which is said to be the sound that was created when Big Bang happened, and that's why it is called anahatanat, because there was nothing to be struck against, right? जब Big Bang हुआ तो उस टाइम पे तो कुछ था ही नहीं, neither there was space nor there was time, there was no matter, there was no energy, there was nothing, right? There was nothing, and suddenly the universe happened at the time of Big Bang, right? So at that point of time when there was nothing and yet the Big Bang happened, उस टाइम पे जो sound प्रथम प्रणव जिसे कहते हैं, या अनआहत नाद, omkar, you know, is the sound which our Vedic scriptures describe as the sound of the anahat nad, as you know, a visualization, or rather the audialization of that specific event and that specific point of time, you know, when nothing was there and suddenly everything emerged. उस टाइम पे विदाउट स्ट्राइकिंग, you know, जो साउंड तैयार हुआ था, अनआहत नाद जो तैयार हुआ था, you know, वो ओमकार है, और उसका जो कम्युनिकेशन फॉर्मेट है, दैट इज़ परा. You know, this is the language of the consciousness, you know, this is the language in which you know, the consciousness communicates, right? So ये चार formats of the speeches है, and you know, it is said that all of them have a trigger you know, in the supreme consciousness, and supreme consciousness is beyond all these four as well, right? Three gunas we have already studied, the sattva, raja, tamo, they all trigger in from the supreme consciousness as well. The past, present and future have the root in supreme consciousness as well, that when you reach the state, or when you can experience the state of supreme consciousness, at that time even time you know, stops you know, being the way it is for us. अभी अगर हम देखें तो I can clearly experience the present, I can, you know, look at past from a memory perspective, and future from you know, prediction or insight perspective, right? But probably when I'm at the stage of supreme consciousness, when I'm in link or in connection with that, even time for me would be spatial, right? अगर किसी ने इंटरस्टेलर देखा है और उसमें इफ़ यू नो हाउ, यू नो, द हीरो इज कॉट इन दैट स्पेस, जहाँ पे वो टाइम को ही कैन यू नो, ही कैन maneuver around the time as if it is space, right? That is, in that context, it is said that even the past, present and future, you know, has the root in supreme consciousness, and it is beyond all of that too, right? Three bodies, the physical, the mind intellect, and the causal, you know, what leads to this body ultimately, the root of it, all of that is again supreme consciousness, and supreme consciousness is beyond all of it. And the three fundamental forces as per Vedas, which is the creation force, the destruction force, and the sustenance force, or you know, the Brahma, the Vishnu and the Mahesh, all of that is again have the root in supreme consciousness, and supreme consciousness is beyond all of it, right? So both quantitatively, that is the expanse, the diversity and the complexity, and qualitatively, you know, in terms of all these things, the root of it is supreme consciousness, and the supreme consciousness is beyond all of it. And you know, when I say, just think of the waves as example, that the waves have the ocean within them, but the ocean is beyond the waves, right? All the waves are within the ocean, but ocean is not within any of the wave, right? It is a part, you know, as a part of the wave, but it's not, no wave can contain the ocean, right? So in the same way, you know, it is being referred here. Up, Krishna is further saying that intelligence, knowledge, non-delusion, forbearance, truth, restraint, self-control, pleasure, pain, exaltation, non-violence, all the qualities that you see, they arise from me alone. Me, that is supreme consciousness, right? अब इसका explanation क्या है? See, I already told you that, the supreme consciousness manifests in three different ways: latent, potent, express. When it expresses or manifests itself in an expressed format, that is when we see life, and it could be simplest of life, microorganisms, a bit complicated, multicellular organisms, further complicated plants, further complicated animals, and further complicated or the most complex, which is human being, right? Now when you look at it that way, it's not only differential expression. Yes, supreme consciousness is manifesting itself as an expression, and that's why you see the diversity of life. But then in each life form or an entity or a distinct identity, plant, animal, different species, human beings, one of the species of animals and all that, within each of them there is a differential amount of supreme consciousness, right? And which gives it a much more स्ट्रॉन्गर क्वालिटेटिव एस्पेक्ट. जैसे मैंने इसके पहले के सेशंस में भी समझाया था कि हैव यू एवर सीन अ डॉग कंटेम्पलेट ऑन अ मून, सी अ मून एंड से दैट हे व्हेन आई एम लुकिंग एट अ मून, आई एम लुकिंग एट द मून 1 second into the past, because the moonlight is taking 1 second of time to reach me, right? No dog is going to think about it this way, right? That capability of being able to infer reality in those terms, that yes, when I look at moon, I'm looking at it from 1 second past perspective, that capability is there only in the human beings, right? The capability सिर्फ हमारी human beings में, so what makes us that uniquely capable, right? That's because we have an additional sense of supreme consciousness. By the way, it doesn't make us any better, or lesser than anybody else. It is just an expression of reality. This is what it is, right? Veda doesn't differentiate and doesn't call up human beings as any special entity. It is just saying that we are one of those living entities, just the same as everybody else. But yes, we have this capability, this unique capability. It doesn't make us anything special, because other animals and other living entities may have some other ability which we don't have, right? But all that is saying that since we have this capability, we have this potential to be able to relate to, connect to, and experience the supreme consciousness, which probably the other living entities wouldn't be able to, right? So what is the difference? And this is where I'll express this in terms of this image as well, कि अगर आप किसी फैन में चार्ज को डिफर करें, say every individual fan, ceiling fan, this example is from a ceiling fan. हर ceiling fan में कैपेसिटर बिठाया होता है, and that capacitor decides based on the regulator कि कितना चार्ज फैन के मोटर को भेजना है, right? So if you change the regulator to 1, it will send a very small charge, 2 a slightly higher charge, 5 the highest charge, right? And उसकी वजह से होता क्या है? The speed of the motor changes, right? And that's why you see the blades of the fan rotating with different speed, right? So when you have 5, it is with the fastest of speed. When it is 3, it is the middle speed, and 1 the lowest of speed, and stop, no charge, 0, right? So this 0 is nothing but the potent form of electricity, right? It's just a matter of changing the charge 0 to 1, and then the fan will come to life, but otherwise the fan is dead, right? So this is where I say potent form versus express form, and within the express form also there is a 1 2 3 4 5 gradient of the charge that will fuel the motor, right? This is exactly where the living entities or the species on the planet Earth and anywhere else as well, have that additional element of charge or additional element of supreme consciousness, and the human beings having the highest on the planet Earth, right? The difference is just in how much quantum of supreme consciousness you carry by the make and design of it, right? The way our human beings have evolved through a passage of time, we have been able to have or contain a lot more supreme consciousness than other living entities, right? That gives us these incremental qualitative capabilities, which is intelligence, knowledge, non-delusion, forbearance, truth. But how many of those qualitative aspects do we use, and how much of time we actually live a life of any other normal animal, which is जो कहते हैं कि आहार निद्रा भय च मैथुनम सामान्यम एतत् पशुभिः नराणाम, the triggers and the motivations of fear, sex, desire, all of that is common to us and the animals as well. When they are hungry, they want to eat. when they have a desire, they want to fulfill that particular desire. When they are afraid, they want to search for protection, and they live their life pursuing these specific qualitative aspects. How many of us human beings, we are also pursuing our life in that very same pattern, that the moment we are triggered by our senses, the moment we are triggered by our desires, the moment we are triggered by our fear, we take action in our life accordingly. How much of time we actually spend and cultivate the qualitative aspects of intelligence, knowledge, non-violence, cheerfulness, austerity, restraint, self-control. These are the capabilities we have. We call capabilities हमारे पास है by design, by the way we have evolved. But how many of these qualitative aspects are we leveraging, are we utilizing? That's a question, right? But this is where he's saying that, by the way, these qualitative aspects that you have as human beings are also triggered by me, right? So far so good. So this is the Vishwarup darshan that Krishna is giving to Arjuna. When he sees the Vishwarup darshan, he is basically seeing at that very point of time. And by the way, there are three distinct formats and again stages of realization. As per Vedic scriptures, हमारे Vedic scriptures में there are three different ways in which you can realize, or be closer and closer to the supreme consciousness. First stage is intellectualization, which is like आप rationally कॉमन सेंस अप्लाई करके, साइंस अप्लाई करके, डिसेक्शन, इंटेलेक्ट को अप्लाई करके, यू कैन नाउ ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड द रियलिटी अराउंड यू. और जो भी हमने अब तक सारे स्लाइड्स में कवर किया है, ऑल द सेशंस दैट वी हैव हैड डन सो फार, दे आर ऑल इन द realm of intellectualization, right? Because we are trying to apply our intellect and try and understand what Krishna is trying to convey, what is the translation, what is the hidden meaning, how do we apply, right? All of that is in the realm of intellect, isn't it? The second is when it is inference. The second stage is when we are not just intellectualizing it, because one is intellectualization, the other is actually the inference ki, oh, it does mean this, right? That inference is the second stage, and the third is the experience itself, the realization itself, right? ये तीनों stages के बाद finally आप जाके supreme consciousness के साथ एक oneness feel कर सकते हैं, right? We are currently at the level of intellectualization, कि we are applying our mind and trying to infer what is Krishna trying to convey. But when Arjuna is seeing this Vishwarup darshan, it is not that Krishna is explaining to Arjuna कि देखो यूनिवर्स में ये है, वो है, ये है, वो है. Krishna is somehow in some way showing Arjuna all of it, at once. तो imagine, by some and black box, अभी क्योंकि उस black box का definition मेरे पास नहीं है. I cannot explain what and in which way Arjuna saw it all, right? वो explanation मेरे पास भी नहीं है. If any of you can tell me or comment and share with me what that means, or how it happened, I'll be happy to know. But all that I can tell you is that from the translation of Gita, from the Mahabharata that I've read, one can only imagine that in some way, black box मैं जिसको कहता हूँ कि we don't know कैसे, but in some way Arjuna was able to infer this knowledge, all that we have seen, 13.8 billion years of history, what science has been able to kind of discover and figure out, the complexity of light, the diversity of life. ये हम टेक्स्ट बुक के टर्म्स में पढ़ सकते हैं, इंटेलेक्चुअलाइज कर सकते हैं, लेकिन अर्जुना ने उस समय पे in some way Krishna actually helped Arjuna see this, live. And he saw the entire progression of time, the continuous repeating of the cycles, the cycle of life, the cycle of creation itself and destruction, the multitude of diversity and complexity that exists on the planet of Earth, and the expanse in terms of time and scale. All of that, he saw it there and there within that fraction of a second, and that entire knowledge was so overwhelming for Arjuna that he said that now I realize, how vast this supreme consciousness is, and how at the root of everything around me there is supreme consciousness, right? With manifold arms, stomachs, mouths, eyes, that is the diversity of life. I behold your infinite form on all sides. Expanse, sides mean expanse. I see no end, no middle, not the beginning. The cycles, the repetition, the creation, the destruction, the sustenance, right? Going in cycles. O Lord of the universe, O you of the universal form, right? So in one sentence, Arjuna is kind of conveying the sum up of his experience, right? जो वो देख रहे हैं कि वो multitude of diversity को भी देख रहा है. Multiple arms, multiple stomachs, multiple mouths, multiple eyes means the diversity of life. He's also seeing the infinite form on all sides, that is expanse of space and time, and he's also seeing the cycle of creation, maintenance and destruction, and again creation, maintenance and destruction, going on and on and on and on, right? So he's experiencing universe in a nutshell, right? In a quick progression, he's able to see the entire, reality of universe as is in front of him, and this is what he terms as Vishwarup Darshan, right? अब इसका significance क्या है? What is Krishna trying to convey to Arjun, by showing this Vishwarup Darshan to him, right? He's saying, whatsoever you do, Krishna is telling Arjuna, whatsoever you do, whatsoever you eat, whatsoever you offer, whatsoever you give away, whatsoever austerity you practice, O Arjuna, do that as an offering to me. राइट? सो आप अपने लाइफ में जो भी कुछ करें, जो भी एक्शंस ले, जो भी काम करें, राइट, वो आप इस तरह से करें कि यू आर नॉट द डूअर, आपकी बॉडी वो नहीं कर रही है, देयर इज सम सुप्रीम कॉन्शियसनेस विद इन यू विच इज एनेबलिंग यू टू डू दिस, राइट? एंड वॉट एवर यू आर डूइंग इट इज फॉर दैट supreme consciousness, which by the way exists in pretty much everything else that is around you, right? And that has been in existence for years and years before you and will be in existence years and years after you, right? ये जो perspective है of expanse, space and time, diversity, complexity and quantitative and qualitative aspects, and we human beings being uniquely capable to be able to experience this perspective, राइट, एंड अप्लाई दिस टू अवर लाइफ, इस थॉट को अगर आप दिमाग में रख के अपनी लाइफ को जिए तो आपकी लाइफ में बहुत सारी चीज़ें आसान हो जाएंगी, राइट? एंड आई कम टू हाउ ऑफ इट एज वेल, बट बिफोर दैट जस्ट सम अप ऑफ एन इनसाइट, राइट? अगर आप माचिस की तीली ले, इफ आई टेक अ मैच स्टिक, and strike it and create this flame, right? Now uniquely I can identify this one single flame of that one particular matchstick, right? Now if I pass this matchstick and use it to kind of create a sacrificial fire, or burn a yadnik fire, then it becomes a sacrificial fire. I can use it to burn a forest, I can use it to burn the chitta, right? It's the same flame, that exists in all these multitudes of things, right? At the core is the supreme consciousness which is triggering life, the diversity, the complexity, the quantitative and the qualitative aspects, the expanse, all of it. It is this one single flame of supreme consciousness which is creating all of it that's around you, right? एंड इस फ्लेम के ऊपर अगर आप ध्यान रखें दिमाग में कि यार अल्टीमेटली इवन इफ आई सी द फॉरेस्ट फायर, इवन इफ आई सी द चिता, इवन इफ आई सी द यादनिक फायर, इवन इफ आई सी a matchstick and the flame, the root of it is all that flame, the fire, which is what it is. It is expressed in multiple formats. Yes, the core is the same, right? इस thought के साथ अगर अपने लाइफ के हर चीज़ को आप देखें तो आपकी चीज़ें लाइफ बहुत आसान हो जाएगी, राइट? नाउ लेट्स कम टू हाउ एंड व्हाट ऑफ इट, राइट? This perspective that we just picked up from the Vishwarup Darshan, right? That this universe is an eternal thing, cyclical, right? It has been in existence for the longest of time. It will be in existence for the time to come, infinitely, right? There will be cycles of creation, sustenance and destruction, but the universe तो यही रहेगा, ऐसे ही रहेगा, right? The form may change, you may or may not be there in terms of in this very form. Your life is limited, 70, 80, 90, 60, whatever, the time you live on this earth, but this universe will go on, right? The expanse of it, space-time, the diversity, the complexity, right? This is one perspective to keep in mind, and then now decide when do you want to zoom in and when do you want to zoom out, and how much you want to zoom in and how much you want to zoom out, right? What do I mean? There is a sense of and need of detachable attachment. आपने अपने आप को एक चीज़ देनी चाहिए कि मैंने कब किसी चीज़ को अटैच करना है, कब किसी चीज़ से अटैचमेंट निकालना है, राइट? एंड यही जो ट्रिक है दैट is karma yoga, right? Being able to detach yourself at the right time when needed, and being able to attach yourself at the right time when needed, that is karma yoga. That the yukti of performing karma is karma yoga, right? This is exactly what Krishna has said at the start of Gita, right? अब ये क्या है, right? There are two things which I would like to give as examples. आप कृष्ण को ही देख लो, कृष्ण की लाइफ देख लो, what has been Krishna's life through and through. Did he even need to take a side between Pandavas and Kauravas? Did he even need to? Was he even a stakeholder in in that fight. He was not, yes, he was related to Pandavas, of course, वो पांडवास के रिलेटिव थे, ज़रूर थे, लेकिन उनका कोई इसमें स्टेक नहीं था, राइट? उनका कोई राज्य इसमें इन्वॉल्व नहीं था, पॉलिटिकली ही वॉज नॉट नेसेसरली एसोसिएटेड, उसको इस युद्ध में कोई पार्ट लेने की ज़रूरत नहीं थी. ही हैड एब्सोल्युटली नो नीड, other than the fact that Pandavas came for help or asking for advice. They at the max came in to ask for advice, right? They didn't specifically ask to either give soldiers and or be a part of this war or whatever. That happened way much later. Krishna's involvement came in much earlier. Why did he even think of attaching himself to that? And when it comes to his own individual kingdom, how quickly he detached himself from everything else. The Radha and the friends that he had as a child, the kingdom that he won from Karns when he and his elder brother Baldev, when they won over the kingdom, look how quickly he passed on that kingdom to the king, right, who was in jail. जैसे ही उन्होंने जेल से निकाला, वो किंगडम उन्होंने उस राजा को दे दिया, उन्होंने अपने पास नहीं रखा, right? How quickly he left his own kingdom and kind of moved to form another kingdom. How quickly he detached from that land, and he said that our land is our people. It is not, we can't identify ourselves with this one specific geographical mass. हम जहाँ पे भी है वो हमारा country है, right? This is his statement, right? So he was not attached to his specific land. And as after the Mahabharata as well, जब उन्होंने अपने आँखों से अपनी रेस का, वृष्णि रेस का, यादव डिनेस्टी का नाश होते हुए देखा, अपनी प्रोजनी, अपने ग्रैंड चिल्ड्रन, इनको आपस में लड़ते हुए, एक दूसरे को मारते हुए देखा, तो ही इक्वली डिटैच्ड हिमसेल्फ एंड सेड सो बी इट, राइट? ही जस्ट लेट इट हैपन. बट जहाँ पे ज़रूरत पड़ी, इन सब में ही वॉज डिटैच्ड ऑल थ्रू दिस. He didn't care. He cared the least about his own kingdom, about his rule, about necessarily insisting on his way of working or whatever, right? He let go of everything. But when it comes to Mahabharat, he attached himself and said कि नहीं, अब अगर युद्ध करना है तो मैं ऐसा युद्ध करूँगा. I'll wage such a war that will be known and will be talked about for years to come. Right? When there was a need, he attached himself. But when there was need, he detached himself fully. His life has been an example of Karma Yoga, right? It is an example of detachable attachment. When he needed to zoom in, he zoomed in, and he worked with Pandavas on every single strategy, every single facet, every single individual war. Even for that matter कि अर्जुना ने कर्ण को कैसे मारना चाहिए, भीष्म को कैसे मारना चाहिए, right? All of that he was involved at the micro level, micro strategy level. But when it comes to the largest scheme of things, when it comes to his own life, when it comes to his own kingdom, his own individual attachments, he was free of it all. Macro, right? He cared least of all of that, right? He did his job as a duty, right? Whatever he was asked to do. As a son, he did what he was asked to do. He was supposed to do. As a ruler, he did what he was supposed to do. As a brother, he did what he was supposed to do. And he continued doing so as a matter of duty, right? So his life is a living example of what what Karma Yoga is all about. Second thing, again quoting from Mahabharata, देर इज, ये आख्यायिका है. महाभारत में मैंने तो नहीं पढ़ा कहीं भी, बट महाभारत को लेके जो अलग अलग आख्यायिका हैं, different stories that get formed, or talked about. One of those stories is this, कि when during the time of Mahabharata, when Pandavas were sitting all together and Krishna was there, and Krishna asked that, hey, which is your favorite weapon, right? Each of the Pandavas named one, the favorite weapon, right? Of course, Arjuna said bow and arrow. Yudhishthir said bhala, and each of them had Nakul and Sadev talked about the sword. And then everybody assumed that Bhim is going to say the mace, Gada, right? He's going to say Gada. But Bhim said, whatever is in my hand at that point of time, that is my favorite weapon, because the war is not won by a weapon, but what is needed at that particular point of time. तो अगर मेरे सामने झाड़ भी है और मुझे झाड़ से लड़ना पड़े, तो मैं झाड़ उखाड़ के लड़ूंगा, लेकिन मेरे को लड़ने के लिए जो लगेगा, that is my favorite weapon at that point of time, right? So the trick is not zooming in or zooming out. The trick is about when to zoom in and when to zoom out, right? That trick, that knowing when to zoom in and zoom out is the key to success. Now, first of all, what is zooming in and zoom out, right? So Zooming out means that you are looking at the macro of things. You're looking at things from a larger perspective. You're not taking it day by day. You're talking from a purpose perspective. You have a long term purpose in your mind for your own life, and then you're looking at whatever is happening to you on a daily basis from that purpose perspective. राइट द एग्जाम्पल इज, अगर मैंने कहा एक महीने में यू हैव टू लूज 10 kgs ऑफ वेट, राइट, एंड देन यू हैव टू फॉर दैट यू हैव टू वॉक 14,000 steps every day, right, or rather in a month you will have to walk around 42 lakh or 420,000 steps, राइट. अगर पहले दिन आप 10,000 स्टेप्स चले, नेक्स्ट डे 10,000 एंड द थर्ड डे यू कांट वॉक एट ऑल, राइट, यू वॉन्ट बी डिसहार्टन बिकॉज यू नो कि चलो इन द लॉन्ग रन आई हैव टू कंप्लीट 420,000 स्टेप्स. 2 दिन अगर मैं 10,000 चलाऊँ, थर्ड डे नहीं चलाऊँ, नेक्स्ट डे आई यू नो मैच अप, यू नो, और मेक अप to that count, right. When you have a purpose, you know, a long term purpose, the small successes and failures don't impact you as much because all of that is a journey towards a larger scheme of things, you know. That's a zoom out perspective. You know, when you're planning, when you're strategizing, when you're thinking about 3-year plan, 4-year plan, you know, when you're looking at a company vision, mission, goal, you know, where you're not talking about individual days but rather the relationship in general. You're not talking about an individual fight and, you know, what he or she said, but rather about your equation and how it should be, you know, through the life. When you're talking about your life from that you know 360-degree perspective, a bird's eye view as we say, right, you know, view from the top, उस हिसाब से अगर आप देख रहे हैं तो वो होता है जूम आउट पर्सपेक्टिव. और जूम इन पर्सपेक्टिव होता है कि गोइंग इन डिटेल, वॉर्म्स आई व्यू. आप हर छोटी चीज़, हर छोटी पहलू को आप नाप रहे हैं, देख रहे हैं, हर दिन के, हर घंटे के, हर मिनट को आप जी रहे हैं और देख रहे हैं कि इसमें हम क्या कर सकते हैं और क्या कर सकते हैं, क्या नहीं कर सकते हैं, राइट. अब इसका चैलेंज क्या है? द मोर जूम्ड आउट यू आर, द लेस डिटेल्स यू नो, एंड द मोर जूम्ड इन you are, the more diverse and the lay of the land you lose out, right. अगर मैं किसी लैंड को आई एम वॉचिंग इट फ्रॉम a parachute on the top or maybe 10,000 feet above the ground, if I am watching a land, आई सी द एंटायर एक्सपांस. मुझे देखेगा कि ये कहाँ पे जंगल है, कहाँ पे नदी है, कहाँ पे प्लेन लैंड है, कहाँ पे ग्रास लैंड है, कहाँ पे घर है, कहाँ पे क्या है, राइट. आई बी एबल टू सी इट ऑल फ्रॉम द टॉप, बट आई लूज द माइक्रो व्यू कि कौन से घर में कौन सा कलर दिया हुआ है, कितने लोग हैं, रास्ते में गड्ढे हैं कि नहीं है, खराब है कि अच्छा है. आई प्रॉब्ली नॉट सी इट फ्रॉम द टॉप, राइट. आई जस्ट सी द एक्सपांस. बट इफ आई एम कम्प्लीटली जूम्ड इन, मैं अगर किसी एक घर का पूरा डिटेलिंग देख रहा हूँ, कितने बेडरूम है, टाइल्स कौन से कलर के, घर कौन से कलर का है, अंदर की वॉल्स कौन से कलर की है, राइट, देन आई एम लूजिंग आउट ऑन द डिटेल कि ये घर कितने बड़े कॉलोनी में, उसके बाजू में नदी है कि क्या है, उसके बाजू में क्या, उसके बाजू में क्या. आई एम लूजिंग आउट ऑन दैट डिटेल, राइट. सो यू हैव टू हैव either a zoom in or a zoom out perspective based on what is important to you. So zoom in zoom out can't be a fixed point कि मैं पूरे लाइफ में zoom in तरह से जीऊँगा या पूरे लाइफ में zoom out की तरह कैसे जीऊँगा, right. These are vantage points. You can now decide कि when do you want to zoom in and when do you want to zoom out, so that you are able to prioritize a holistic perspective or a detailed perspective based on what is needed when. अब कैसे डिफाइन करें कि क्या कब चाहिए? बाय द वे, जूम आउट करने के लिए क्या मदद करता है? जूम आउट करने के लिए ये पर्सपेक्टिव्स मदद करते हैं जो हमने विश्वरूप दर्शन में देखे कि अल्टीमेटली व्हाट मैटर्स. डज योर लाइफ मैटर? आर यू दैट इम्पॉर्टेंट दैट इन दिस एंटायर यूनिवर्स द यूनिवर्स इज सेंटर्ड ऑन यू एंड योर लाइफ इज सो क्रूशल कि आपकी हर छोटी खुशी, हर छोटा दुख इज लाइक everything in the universe, right? It's not. Even if you are a failure at the end of your life, it's going to hardly make any dent in the universe, right? The universe will continue to be what it is, right? तो आपका लाइफ का सिग्निफिकेंस आपने अपने आप को कितना देना है, आपके सुख दुख को सिग्निफिकेंस कितना देना है, आपने अपनी एग्जिस्टेंस को कितना सिग्निफिकेंस देना है, all of that you will be able to have a much more macro view on that if you are zoomed out and if you have this perspective of the expanse, the diversity, the complexity of the universe that we have studied as part of Vishwaroop Darshan, right? The moment you are worried about that one person in your life who's no more, or that one thing in your life which is no more, or that one particular success that you didn't have, or one particular failure that you are undergoing right now, the moment you are worried, demented, depressed about that specific thing, just think about this perspective that in the long run, how does it even matter? 10 साल बाद, 20 साल बाद, 50 साल बाद कोई याद भी नहीं करेगा आप थे. शायद 100 साल बाद कोई याद नहीं करेगा, शायद 500 साल बाद तो आपको डेफिनेटली कोई याद नहीं करेगा, राइट? 1000 साल बाद तो नहीं करेगा, इवन इफ नो मैटर हाउ मच सक्सेस यू हैव हैड, right? And even if they do, what's the point? You're no more there anymore, right? So if you have that perspective, zooming out becomes very easy. It becomes natural eventually, as in how you are more and more ingrained in this perspective, it becomes natural for you. Then zoom in कब करोगे? Zoom in तब करोगे when it is aligned to the duty, when it is aligned to the purpose, when it is aligned to the actionable. जैसे कृष्णा को महाभारत के युद्ध से कोई मिलना नहीं था, उसको न राज मिलने वाला था, उसको न कोई ऐश्वर्य मिलने वाला था, एक सही चीज़ होने वाली थी, and he was there only for that. He just wanted the right thing to be done, even if it had to be done in the wrong way. He was okay with that, right? So his only stake on the ground was his purpose. His purpose was to show the right way, right? Show the right way forward, which is living by karma yoga, right? And that's what he fought the war for, right? That's what he waged the war for. Otherwise his stake was nothing, right? He was hardly there for anything else. So this zooming in and zooming out, अब ये कैसे करें? when पे कैसे आए, right? Knowing what had to wear when, zoom in hat या zoom out hat. So there is a simple trick, and we'll study about it in the subsequent sessions as well. But the simplest of trick is this. We have studied this in the previous sessions कि आपके लाइफ में जो भी डिलेमास आते हैं, वो डिलेमास के दो ही पिवट्स होंगे, दो ही पिलर्स होंगे. एक पिलर होगा सिचुएशन एंड सर्कमस्टांसेस, एंड दूसरा पिलर होगा एक्शन एंड चॉइसेस. That is what you can do, right? First pillar is situation and circumstances, means what you are up against and what you have to face, which situation, which circumstance you are in, which is beyond your control, which has not happened because of you, right? And the second is something which is happening to you because of your earlier choices, because of your own personality, decisions, choices that you have made. And what is it that you can do about it now? The actions that you can take, the choices you can take now, right? Which is completely in your control. यही दो pillars होते हैं किसी भी dilemma के. There are things which are out of your control, there are things which are in your control. Out of your control is situation, circumstances, people, because you can only do as much for the people around you. You can 100% control yourself, you should be able to, right? But the other people are not in your control. Whether somebody loves you back or not is not in your control. Whether you can love someone is in your control, isn't it? So situation, circumstances, people, beyond your control. What you can do, your actions, your strategy, your plans, your choices, 100% in your control. ये दो ही levers हैं. There can't be any other lever in any dilemma, right? Now, when a dilemma comes in, when the situation, the circumstances and the other people overwhelm in that particular dilemma, then it is a zoom out perspective that helps. कोई भी ऐसी situation है कि जो आप पे आ गई है, जिसमें आपका कोई control नहीं है, you can do nothing about it, and about that particular situation, now that it has happened, right? All that you can do is, okay, now given the situation, what more can I do, right? This is when the zoom out perspective helps. Why zoom out? Because ultimately you have to let it go and say कि अब हो गया, मेरे हाथ में है नहीं, क्या कर सकता हूँ मैं, let it be. Let it be. It's not something special. I'm not uniquely in this particular challenging position. There would be millions like me anyways, and it's fine even if I'm a failure. That's fine. Let's brush up, and start again, right? Restart, move on, move forward, right? And then what we can do about it now? Okay, there's only as much I can do. I can do this step 1, step 2, step 3. Let me do that. We'll figure out what happens, right? This perspective becomes extremely important for you when you are in a situation which is beyond your control, right? But at the same time, when there are things which are completely in your control now, right? When the situation is not overwhelming, but what you have to do about it is what is overwhelming, then you have to zoom in. Like, and the simplest of example I can give is weight loss, for example, right? If somebody tells you that, hey, if you decide for yourself that, hey, I want to lose weight, right, and I want to be healthy, now this is completely in your control. Now you have to zoom in every day, what I'll do, every day what I'll eat, what kind of exercise I'll do, what is my metabolism like, what kind of exercise will fit me well, what kind of things I can do at my home if I can't go out right now, what is available to me, how much can I pay for this health, can I pay for a costly diet, or I can't, and therefore I'll have to cook my own stuff. All that zooming in, all that planning, all that detailing, and then ensuring that you do it day in, day out, every single day, every single hour, every single decision, should I eat this chocolate or not, should I eat this biscuit or not, right? It's extremely detailed. हर एक छोटी चीज़ के ऊपर आप जब ध्यान देके अपने आप को कंट्रोल करके आप उस हिसाब से अगर एक्शन करेंगे तो आप आपकी वेट लॉस जर्नी में आगे जाएंगे और ज़रूर आगे जाएंगे, बिकॉज 100% इट इज़ इन योर कंट्रोल. इट्स अ मैटर ऑफ डीप डाइविंग एंड गेटिंग थिंग्स डन, राइट? सो दिस जूम इन एंड जूम आउट इज़ अ की एस्पेक्ट ऑफ योर लाइफ. मैंने तो बहुत एग्जाम्पल छोटे छोटे दिए हैं, वेट लॉस का एक एग्जाम्पल दिया या कोई चैलेंजेस का एग्जाम्पल दिया, बट द मोर ग्रेव द चैलेंज, the more the zoom out necessary. See, if one of your closest person dies, for example, right, that's a loss that one can find extremely unbearable. Even now I can't think of that kind of situation कि मैं इसमें से कैसे बाहर निकलूंगा, right? But one has to, and this is when the zoom out perspective helps, right? अगर आपने अपनी पूरी लाइफ किसी एक पर्पस के पीछे डाल दी है, and when you fail in that very purpose, right? If somebody wants to be a cricketer and consistently he's failing, he just can't make it, and he's got this one opportunity that he can crack into a national team and he gets rejected, right? The whole world comes crashing down. पूरी दुनिया आपको लगती है कि खत्म हो गई, बिकॉज अभी अपनी लाइफ में पर्पस बचा ही क्या, मैंने किया ही क्या अब तक लाइफ में, यही तो किया कि आई हैव टू गेट इनटू अ नेशनल टीम एंड नाउ आई डोंट हैव एनी चांस अगेन, मेरा एज बढ़ गया है, आई मे नॉट गेट दिस सिलेक्शन चांस अगेन, आई हैव लॉस्ट इट, आई फेल्ड, नाउ व्हाट डू आई डू? The world comes crashing down, right? The more grave the problem, the more the challenge in zooming out, and this is when this perspective helps, right? You may see कि यार ये क्या zoom in zoom out के लिए इतना बड़ा चीज़ क्यों चाहिए, 13.8 billion years and diversity and complexity, इतना बड़ा perspective क्यों चाहिए, right? It is needed, and only those of you who have gone through that gravest of challenges, the gravest of problems, right? People contemplate suicide, people commit suicide, right? They contemplate suicide for a reason, because for them that problem is overwhelmingly big, right? For them we can't relate to that because we have not been through that situation, or we have not seen that situation up and close as much, or probably for us that situation won't be as grave, right? But for some that is at that grave, right? And for them, if they have this perspective, it is overwhelmingly helpful, right? So this is all that's primarily there in terms of 9th and 10th and 11th chapters. Is Vishwaroop Darshan, which is about expanse, diversity, complexity of it, and how do we use it from a perspective of zooming in and zoom out. We'll of course deep dive on it further in the coming sessions, but so far this is it. It's detachable attachment that one has to practice and leverage. The when we have covered already, but we'll cover at length later. Any questions, any problems, any queries, feel free to drop a comment, let me know. I'll be happy to respond. Thank you so much and take care. Cheers, bye.